In 1948, a charismatic, liberal political leader was assassinated in Colombia. His name was Jorge Eliezer Gaitan. This sparked the conflict in Colombia known as La Violencia. Guerrilla groups were formed, paramilitary groups assembled, and government and these groups were at war, each claiming to protect the people of Colombia. A power struggle that took over 200,000 lives and took decades to solve. It really still isn't solved. This is all before Escobar. The history, the violence, the conflict, it's much deeper than just one person. Cocaine was and is a major part of the violence here. It fuels the political war, which is all based on money, power, control, and money. On June 23, 2016, that is not even 10 years ago, the Colombian government and the FARC rebels signed an historic ceasefire deal. FARC is a very powerful rebel group in Colombia, specifically in Medellin. Today, you can travel to Medellin safely, which is absolutely amazing when you think about their past. From Escobar to the cocaine trade to the government, the paramilitary groups, the guerrilla groups, all trying to control the land and the jungle that buries into the Aburra Valley in this crazy place called Medellin. The violence is long and the cuts are deep there. It's a crazy history, and the fact that it is transformed and someone like me can go there and there's art and music and hip hop in these different areas that used to be filled with gangs, drugs, and violence is absolutely amazing. And I want to uncover a little bit as to why and how, and can other cities replicate this? Well, I went there on a solo trip to try to uncover some of that. But of course, as a tourist, I had to do the typical touristy things. Learn salsa. Try exotic food.
Maybe water, maximum half.
Oh, that is good. Sit at a trendy cafe and sip coffee, ride the metro, and unfortunately have something stolen.
I'm wearing my book bag in the front. We're at Claro, new cell phone. Luckily I got my guide with me because it was taken on the metro. Pretty bummed about it. Feel a little shaken out, but hey, lesson learned. I had my cell phone in my front pocket, sticking out, and it was taken. So anyway, I'm here, gonna get a new number. Just another lesson, stay safe, book bag in the front.
One thing that Colombia does vastly different than any city in the US.
Social classes that we have in Medellin. Well, not in Medellin, in Colombia. It's a system that we call in Spanish estratos. It goes from the number 1 to the number 6, where 1 and 2, low class, 3, 4, middle class, and 5 and 6, high class. In the case of Medellin, the high class is located in the south area, Poblado. The higher that you live, the richer that you are. The rest of the city changes, and the higher that you live up in the mountain, the poorer that you are. No access, no streets. That's why you need the help from the government with infrastructure, that in this case would be the cable cars.
And this is all based on addresses. So like
the areas. Well, what makes you 1 or what makes you 6, it is the access to infrastructure and services that you have around the area where you live.
Okay.
So up there in the mountain, you saw,
yes,
there's no streets.
Right.
In Poblado, they have streets. They have malls. They have banks. They have churches, hospitals. Up there, if they need to go to the hospital, they have to take the tram, the cable car, the tram to get here.
See.
So that's what changes.
So could that change if they build infrastructure? Then do numbers change?
For example, with the arrival of the cable car, now you live just 1 block distance from the cable car station, so it will increase your level from 1 to 2 because you are 1 block from the city. Okay?
Yes.
That's the way it works.
I see. And they might have.
I'm staying in the super trendy, very non-diverse area of Poblado. If you were doing any research as a tourist, you would stumble across this town. It is very well off and very tourist friendly. Depress and be open to the experience. I think that's what I'll keep telling myself in my head as I walk to my solo salsa lesson. Something I never thought I would do.
Or maybe we can
The stage is okay and I'll set that up there, yeah. What was your name again?
Ana Maria.
Ana Maria.
So, have you danced before?
No.
Nothing.
No, first time.
Okay.
Okay, so if somebody is learning salsa, what is a good tip you would give them? Somebody's watching the video and they're like, I want to learn salsa.
A good tip is to practice a lot the basic steps, because if you have a good basic step, you're gonna be good at the timing.
Yes, I actually can already see that and feel that when I was on the basic steps in the video, then I could see everything else kind of came together.
Yes.
But when I was second guessing the basic steps, then I couldn't do the advanced steps either. Yeah. So just get really good. The basic is just the forward, side to side.
Yes.
Just those four.
And quintas.
Oh, and quintas. Yeah, we do quintas. Okay.
I give you an A.
An A.
Because you learn really fast.
Okay, we got to a further place than some beginners.
Yes.
Okay, awesome.
You are really good at that.
So the next hour, if we did another hour, we would do more steps.
Yes, more steps. And maybe try with to be more fluent with the steps.
Look up.
But you learn too fast.
Totally worth it. Like most things in life, once you do it, once you get there, it ends up being fun. What a great experience. Now I can say I danced salsa, and my instructor, don't know if you heard, gave me an 8. Anyway, it was so much fun, and she was...
The social stratification started off as a good thing, like most things do, but it is also riddled with problems. Between 1965 and 1975, there was a massive amount of unregulated expansion in Medellin. People built homes and started neighborhoods high up in the hills that were very informal with no utilities. These areas were usually run by guerrilla groups, paramilitary, or informal gangs. These shanty towns were stealing utilities, drinking unsafe water, and could be looked at as a major problem. The social stratification aimed to help fix that problem. The idea was innovative but rigid all at the same time, and it really has given certain areas a lot more attention and has helped them thrive over the years.
In the most of the world, you have to pay a lot of money for having this view. Here is the opposite. The most of the poor people live in the highest part of the city. That is the north. You also have an amazing view, the highest you live, and you don't have to pay a lot of rent.
But in
Poblado is at the exception, because the whole Poblado is very expensive, so even the people that live in the high mountains of El Poblado have to pay a lot more.
Okay.
Take a look at this amazing infographic map that shows the improvement in the murder rate in certain areas of Medellin as more public utilities and safe drinking water was brought to these areas. You can't talk about Colombia without talking about coffee. Here I am, decked out, ready to go pick some coffee.
Like you were dressing. And the chapola stay here like a couple months into the sun. Thank you. El otro paso with one of them that is not red. Do you take breakfast today?
The history is amazing. I was trying to capture the slanted floor. They used to dry the coffee up here, push it right down. I mean, just wild to think about all the work that went into it. What a view. Yeah, really cool experience. Oh, look at this guy. Before we explore the markets of Colombia, let's talk about EPM. It's a very important piece to the puzzle.
The great building that we have here in front, it has a power generator shape.
Yes.
You see?
Yes.
That's the EPM building. The company who built the dam.
Oh.
Guatapé.
Okay.
And the biggest public company of Colombia. They are in charge of providing us electricity, water, and gas. Thanks to them, Colombia exports power to Ecuador and Peru.
Oh, wow.
It's the cherry of the cake.
Yes.
That one.
EPM has been mostly shielded from corruption and short-term vision because it does not follow the 4-year term of the mayors. A common thing, especially in some of these South American countries, is for a mayor to come in, run on a new term, cancel a project, and start their own. A lot of things might go unfinished. A great example of this is the public transit system in Bogota. Back to EPM. They also earn millions of dollars a year and use some of that money for a positive change, and they employ over 16,000 people. Okay, when you come to Colombia, you have to try the fruit. Absolutely love
being in the markets, getting the true feel, walking around. Oscar's showing me such a great time. Got a link in below.
For making before the arepas. And they take all the beans like from the corn, and then at the end they just have it inside the thing in the middle. That we call it in Spanish tusa, but inside the bucket is where they have all the corn that they have been peeling.
Do you use the tusa?
Huh?
Do you use the inside? The
So,
tusa?
like before, they used to use for watching, like a
yeah.
brush.
Yeah, right.
My mother, like that she used to like wash their clothes in the river.
With that.
Was with that.
Gracias.
So arepa de chocolate and farmer's cheese on top. Not very sweet, but sweeter than the regular.
That's good. Lemon?
Yeah.
See?
Now open it. And inside, look at the alien brains.
Wow. Crazy.
To suck the seeds. And after we eat this, we're going to be as intelligent as the aliens. Because we're eating the brains.
Nice.
So you suck them.
Okay.
Get the flavor, swallow. That's the
Okay.
first round. Don't chew. In the second round, chew. And it will have a different flavor. So this fruit has two flavors. No, pues ¿cómo? Which flavor do you prefer?
I think I like number 2.
The crunchy?
Number 2, yeah. There's some crunch to it, and then you get like a little bitter, like sweetness in there.
From the seed.
This is your favorite.
Yeah, that's my favorite. It's called granadilla.
This is good. Very good.
Okay, back to EPM. EPM started to analyze the city and their lighting. What areas were not well lit at night, and could that be a problem for some of the crime? What they came across was so interesting. They found islands of darkness. These dark spots were actually 144 water tanks that were initially built on the city's outskirts. The city has expanded, and the tanks were now surrounded by shantytowns and became places of violence and drug trade. With EPM and the help of the community, they transformed these places into very safe, modern parks or gathering places. This is a theme with the government, the people, and EPM that continues to evolve. Community 13 is another great example. I'll link the video I did on that above. Once one of the most violent neighborhoods in the world, over 200 homicides a day, now is filled with street art, hip hop, and dancing, and is a massive tourist destination. Another interesting stat, which far exceeds some of the other surrounding areas of Medellin, is EPM manages to treat 97% of homes that are connected to the official water system and 95% sewer system. Those are astonishing figures compared to the rest of Latin America. One of the biggest tangible things that people talk about in relation to the turnaround of Medellin is the public transit system. In 1980, the project was approved by the National Council of Economic and Social Policies. On November 1995, the first journey took place. This gave citizens high up in the hills in Medellin, hills that if you're in the States, you probably are inconceivable to think about walking up or being around or living on. These people could not access the commerce that was happening down in the middle of the valley. So this public transit system gave them access to that. It was massively important. Soon, gondola cars and escalators were added to provide even more access to the people that were high up in the mountains. It transformed the way the city moved. Public transit system is the pride of the city. I mean, it is by far the cleanest public transit system that I have ever been on. You can tell that the people take pride in this. This project was important to them, and it's something that is not just, it's something that should not just be given to them and they don't care about, and there's graffiti and trash. It is really well taken care of.
I'm in Poblado, and the goal today is to get to Parque Ardabi. Now, I've heard this is a very popular thing to do. I love nature, love being outside. I've also been told, don't bring the camera on the subway. And it's a long subway ride. Oh, hello, dance school, did salsa there last night. So, I want to make a video about the subway. I'm on there, considering I've already been pickpocketed on the subway. Probably going to put the camera away. Do my best to capture what I can, but once I get to Parque RDV, bring the camera back out, talk about it. But Poblado to RDV should be a pretty straight shot on the metro and then up on the gondola car. Let's do it.
The journey was about an hour. Now, without public transit, this trip would have taken me 2 to 3 hours easily. The accessibility that this system provides is huge, and even I, as a tourist, got to experience that. Medellin gets almost 70 inches of rainfall per year.
We call it the middle of a rainstorm here, but they don't serve food, they only serve drinks, so we're gonna make a run for it to try to hide in the craziness of the Colombian rain.
The other factor of the turnaround is the people of Medellin.
They are called berracos. Berracos, it's a person that it's always looking forward. Doesn't matter how the life of the person is, what happened in his life, they wake up and they continue hustling day by day. They work and they live one day at a time.
So these people, I mean, they're barely making it.
Yep.
In the simplest terms, a combination of power, people on the streets, and collaborating has created something beautiful. Peace, art, and tourism are a part of Medellin because action was taken. Infrastructure was built, and the people are some of the most resilient on the planet. Other cities cannot duplicate this. They must find their own resources, geographical advantages, and special power of their people. Medellin is unique in so many ways, but the turnaround that this city has achieved is nothing short of a unicorn.
He had a great point on how Medellin has come to be a tourist destination and what they're doing to kind of bring their youth up. What were the things you were telling me?
So it's been through education, recreation, and health. So that way, putting education schools in the places, in the poor neighborhoods, those kids, they have access to the education. So there's no excuses for those parents that they said that the school is far away for sending them to school because the school is right there at the neighborhood. Then in the same place, they also have soccer fields, basketball courts. And after the school, they belong to teams, to clubs.
Yeah.
So there's tournaments also supported by the city hall. So those kids, they're always busy and they don't have time to see around, to see what the neighborhood, what is going on in the neighborhood, why there's people in the corner, why those guys are there and they are doing something, what are they doing? There's no that curiosity because they are always busy.
Yes, amazing. I love it. And I just the transformation that has come through the city, I think is huge, and that's what you would attribute most of it to.
Yeah.
Starting fundamentally with that education.
All of it,
Yeah.
education.
Awesome.
What's your opinion on Medellin? Do you think other cities can copy it? Have you been there? Have you visited? Do you live there? Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. Appreciate it.